Hello, everybody. Kriztiankool here. We are back with some more wrestling talk. We just had an eventful weekend for the WWE when it comes to the Royal Rumble. They had a Saturday night's main event the week before that, and yeah, a lot has happened. They also recently released Unreal 2 just the other week, and we're going to discuss that as well a bit here. And yeah, so an overall WWE conversation only. So for those of you who are looking more for just WWE content, this will be the video for that. So hopefully you're all looking forward to this vid. And well, how would you know to look forward to if you didn't know if it was really going to drop? Anyways, I digress. We're gonna get started talking a little bit. Before we talk to Royal Rumble, let's go back the week prior, talk about Saturday night's main event. All right, so first and foremost, I will say up front, this was probably one of the better Saturday night's main events I have seen in a while, and I was very pleased with the presentation. All right, so let's kind of get started. What's For those of you who aren't familiar with these videos, I use the Bleacher Report to kind of follow note wise instead of me taking notes all the time. This is my lazy way of just using their report to kind of maybe hit my memory up a little bit if I don't quite remember certain vivid details, but this is what we use for such things. So Cody Rhodes, Jacob Fatu. So far, I've been kind of milk-warm on this feud, honestly. It just feels like they just need someone high-profile Jacob Fatu to wrestle right now or be in a feud with. And he's kind of a semi-heel slash babyface. He's a tweener, so you don't really want him on McIntyre, so they put him on Cody. And yeah, basically the basis of their feud so far is that Cody disrespects him, basically, which is whatever. I mean, it's simple. It works. But yeah, these two basically got into it immediately. Didn't really get in the ring to get started. They went all over and brawled. Now, I will say what the thing that made this Saturday night's main event really good is that they offered a little bit of everything. Or maybe that's not the right terminology. They offered something a little different on every match of the card, which is what you want on a show. On Given the type of entertainment pro wrestling is, you want to offer something a little different in throughout the card. Um, and that's what this offered. It offered an explosive like tango between the two men. They went all over the arena and were at each other's, throats, going crazy. It was some good crap. And it had a very unique little finish to the brawl. Instead of just the security just pulling them too far apart. I loved how these guys were just beating up the security every which way. Basically there was no security that was going to stop these guys. Well, when there's no security that's going to stop these guys, thank God we got Drew McIntyre, our WWE undisputed champion, to stop him, which I thought was very interesting. Yeah, he went in and basically they got to a point where Drew basically jumped him and he took both of them out, which was, like I said, very interesting. An interesting way to end the brawl. But yeah, it did great things. It made McIntyre look good. Um, there was no it protected Rhodes and Jacob. And obviously, I'm starting to wonder the more and we're going to discuss it more as we go through. I'm starting to lean more towards they're going to have probably these guys in a triple threat against each other at WrestleMania. But which is super annoying because I think everyone in the world, myself included, is a little tired of the Cody Drew McIntyre feud. Like, I was hoping that this was gonna like get Cody more away from the title scene and help Jacob rise up past the ceiling to be able to get afforded opportunity with the main title scene. Um, but based on later events, and we'll discuss that, that might not be the case. So let's continue on. So hot opener, yeah, let's go. So we had the women's tag team title match after that. Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, they call themselves Rio. Great. Yeah, all right. And Liv Morgan, Roxanne Perez of the Judgment Day, they've been real cute together. Um, Fun to watch in the ring lately, and it's been some good stuff. Um, yeah, so this was a pretty solid match overall. The fans were into it. Um, it's crazy how over the majority of the women are. Roxanne's getting there too. I mean, people on if I God on Twitter all the time, I get people like I see people post about how cute Roxanne is and how great, how interesting she is to watch. On top of the fact that everybody likes Io, everybody likes Rhea, everybody likes Liv. Liv is getting great reactions. Like she is probably up, like definitely one of the top tier wrestlers that there is, like popularity wise. Like she's surpassed Becky Lynch in my opinion. She has surpassed Charlotte Flair. Like she is in that number one spot where they used to be, is what I'm trying to say. Like obviously Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch are not, they're not considered at the top spot right now, but even like I said, you can try to claim that either Io or Rhea's in that top spot. No, I think it's Liv. Liv is hands down their woman right now. Easily. So Liv is needs to really take that brass ring and run with it. So hopefully she does. Roxanne Perez is still a delight to watch in the ring. Oh my god. She ever since she came into NXT, she has won my eyes. I never got to see her Ring of Honor stuff. I kind of wish I went back and did. But she's definitely got the most upside of all the women when it comes to the women's roster for being able to um, do something magnificent with her career. Definitely has the most upside. Um, Honestly, she's basically taking like the live path when it comes to like reaching that echelon, or maybe the Alexa path, because Alexa was in that top spot once upon a time. I mean, that's where I mean that's the yeah, maybe that's what we'll call it, the Alexa path, because Alexa is this small petite woman that's able to do stuff and entertain, and she was kind of like a champion out of nowhere, and she was champion multiple times, and still considered a popular star in the women's roster. But yeah, like Alexa was probably the model of that build. Maybe before that was AJ Lee, but maybe we should call it the AJ Lee path. I don't know. Either way, the small girl that can kick ass, look scrappy, be entertaining in the ring, and also great character work. Yeah, maybe it's the AJ Lee path. We'll just I don't know. But either way, yeah, lots of great things for Roxanne in the future. I believe she's got to be the face of the women's division in time to come. Um, but yeah, overall, this was like I said, great. There was some Rodriguez interference, of course, Raquel Rodriguez, and trying to support the Judgment Day. Stephanie Vakir coming down and driving Raquel away because they got a thing going on. Rah rah rah, and which I kind of like that those two are feuding against each other because it gives Raquel something to focus on while Stephanie is looking like a credible champ taking on someone as imposing as Raquel Rodriguez. So while they kind of figure out the title scene here in the coming weeks. So yeah, overall great match. Let's move on. Best match of this event, AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura. AJ, and we'll discuss more about AJ in a bit, but obviously up until this point we had known that we had already known he was retiring this year at some point, and this match kind of came out of the blue that AJ Styles was going against Shinsuke, and I'm like, why? And it just dawned on me. I'm like, oh yeah, he's retiring, so it would make sense he'd take on one of his greatest rivals in his career just as a star attraction match. And oh my god, was it an attraction. This match, basically, if you were never convinced that these two had a great rivalry or a good match together in the earlier bit of Shinsuke and AJ's WWE's career, um, because they feuded, I think, before 2020 at some point. Was it 2018, 2019? I can't remember. They feuded, and unfortunately, it didn't work. The feud just kind of was a bit of a buzzkill. It just didn't reach the potential that it should have for a feud with these two and how well they work together and their rivalry and whatnot. It had too much Vince in it. Like basically, Vince ruined the whole thing. If you ask me, Vince ruined Shinsuke's like ascendance to the top of the ranks. Um, I don't know how much of that could have been Shinsuke's fault, but like basically, Vince didn't get Shinsuke's deal and wasn't big on pushing him to the top. But here we got a throwback of New Japan, AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura practically, and this was awesome. Already, if I had to point a match, this is probably the best match of the year, or close to it. AJ and Shinsuke tore the house down with this match. It was wonderful. Honestly, I was so happy to be able to see this. AJ wore interesting gear for the match, which was fun, unique, cool gear. They did like talk about their past in New Japan and stuff like that. Um, yeah, overall, great match, great fucking match. Honestly, if you want my opinion, this was probably the best outing of Shinsuke Nakamura on the main roster, hands down. Been on the main roster however long, this is probably his best match on the main roster. I mean, it took AJ Styles to do it, of course, but like the problem with Shinsuke Styles that it doesn't really work against everybody, and WWE kind of cramps on his style a little bit. But AJ's willing to work on Shinsuke's like style more so than pretty much any of the talent. So that I think that's the problem with Shinsuke is that a lot of people are like, I don't want to take this from you, I don't want to take that from you, because Shinsuke is the king of strong style. A lot of his shit's stiff and snug. So people's like, I don't want to get beat the fuck up by you. So in my opinion, I think that's what held Shinsuke back a lot is people not willing to take stuff from him throughout his time in WWE. Plus Vince not understanding how to use Japanese talent. So, um, it is what it is. But this was awesome, fucking phenomenal. Even yes, phenomenal. So, Saturday Night's main event ended with the 4-way for the number one contendership of the WWE Universal Championship. Sami Zayn, Damian Priest, Randy Orton, Trick Williams. I will say it was nice to see Damian Priest back in the title picture now. Honestly, seeing him demoted after WrestleMania, after being a champion at WrestleMania to doing shit in main event was kind of disheartening. Like, I thought Triple H loved this guy. Why is this guy doing main event shit? Like, it just kind of made me itch my head. But your way, it really this match was actually really good for a 4-way. Most 4-ways, they can be a little too scripted or a little too inorganic. This one wasn't as bad, and it did highlight everyone as well as they could. Trick Williams definitely looked good in this. But yeah, Sami Zayn ended up getting the win. Um, I'm trying to think. I think he pinned Priest. Um, and given the who was in this match, I didn't think. I figured Sami Zayn was eating a pin if someone else was winning, or Priest was eating a pin if Sami Zayn was winning. So, um, and it was in his hometown crowd, Montreal. You can't discount that. Sammy is beloved in Montreal, so yeah, it was definitely everyone was supporting him. Um, so they did mention something. Sammy slipped while trying to walk the ropes like he normally does, and he adjusted and just did a tornado DDT on near fall. And that's the thing. Like sometimes when people f up spots, and we've seen it time and time again, especially with a lot of talent that didn't wrestle in the indies, and they just basically are new, fresh talent out of NXT and coming up to the main roster. There's so many times where you see some f up or something that just doesn't work out of the ordinary that happen, and no one covers it up. No one like there's not like impromptu on the fly, okay, just kind of scrub it and move on, or, they do something else to make an adjustment to not make it seem like there was a fuck up. Sometimes some of these people freeze and they just sit there and then the match looks awkward and you get taken out of the moment. Um, yeah, Zayn as the veteran that he is, did a good job making sure when he did screw up, he just made adjustments on the fly. Um, this was, like I said, very enjoyable four way for the most part, and like everything. Like obviously the crowd won Zayn to win. He won. Just overall, I think it was a good formula for a four way, and honestly, if anyone hasn't seen the Saturday night's main event yet, I think it's worth going back and at least watching. It's especially for the AJ Nakamura match. That was by far one of the best matches I think the year that we'll see this year by far. But yeah, this was beautiful. Good show. Good overall. They what they give the show an A? Yeah. I think the show earned an A. That's like I said, this was probably the best Saturday night's main event. Despite seeing this lovely woman. She's like, yeah, Joe Tessitore not here because of the weather. And we're like, and I'm sitting there like, great. So it's just you? Fuck my life. It's like nobody wants to see her. God. Yeah. You can't enjoy a WWE product without fucking Triple H and Stephanie McMahon's faces smeared everywhere. So uh it is what it is. But overall, yeah, Saturday Night's main event, probably the best one they've done. So that said, week later and this past weekend, we got the Royal Rumble, which was in Saudi Arabia to the chagrin of, well, WWE's fan base, mostly American fan base, or just any other fan base, really, that's not Saudi. Um, yeah, no one was happy about this at all. Actually, more people are less happy about WrestleMania 2027 being in Saudi. Yeah, most people are very unhappy about that. But I mean, it is what it is. They've had this agreement with Saudi, which trying to think, isn't that up yet? I know it was like a 10-year deal. I don't know if it's been extended or not. I think the deal was made in 2018. So like we maybe have 2 more years of the deal. But basically it was a deal of like WWE doing committing to shows in Saudi Arabia for like a 10-year span, like a couple shows a year or whatnot. And yeah. I mean, to be fair, the shows in Saudi now are at least way better than they were when they started doing Saudi shows, but it's just still disheartening because there's so much like baggage that comes with it. Um from the past and other BS, but Let's not dwell on that. That's not what this is for. So let's discuss the Royal Rumble. Yeah, the Royal Rumble. Everybody loves the Rumble, right? All right. We have the Women Rumble, which in my mind was way less entertaining than the Men Rumble, by far this year. Now don't give me this Rumble was fine. I've seen worse. There's way worse. I could count more on my hand from the digits on my hand worse Rumbles than this. So it's not bad. But it wasn't great. Um so let's discuss some things that I just can't stand. So they talk about the Royal Rumble entrance here. We had some NXT girls. One thing I will note about the Royal Rumble, both in general, the one thing I will note is I was actually surprised there was no TNA superstars on the Royal Rumble card. No TNA superstars were shown. So there was NXT, but that was as and maybe some surprise legend like surprises here and there, people coming back from injury, stuff like that. But there was um no TNA guys. So that surprised me. But given that they were in Saudi, maybe not the biggest surprise. So let's discuss the Rumble in general. Bleacher Report wasn't that thrilled. Um, yeah, so they were disappointed that they didn't see any AAA or TNA stars. The men's Rumble did see AAA stars, but yeah, again, no TNA stars, which was kind of weird. Given the president what they've been doing with TNA lately, it was kind of weird to not see any TNA. Yeah, so basically there were some things I didn't like about this Rumble. Let's discuss. All right, so here's the entry order. I'm not sure how well everybody can read it. Let's blow this up. All right, so that's the entry order for everybody. Um, let me discuss this. I absolutely am getting fucking tired of how inorganic the Rumble seems to be in modern pro wrestling. Well, modern WWE, whatever. I am getting really tired of. Oh my god, Charlotte Flair starts at 1. I wonder who the number 2 person will be. Of course, it's her partner. Who else would it be? Heaven forbid, there's a whole slew of roster women, women on the roster. I mean, and anybody could have gotten number 2 to start with Charlotte Flair, and it had to be her partner. WWE does this way too often when it comes to like the start of Rumbles or the start of chamber matches or like the start of like so, and this wasn't the only example in this match that I'm going to talk about. So of course the partners start and then they basically tease taking on each other and they just don't fight. So you get bored for 2 minutes and then people start coming out. I'm happy they give Kiana James a little rub here in this match tonight, or throughout the night. She at least got some time in the ring. Um, but yeah, so let's discuss. Let's see, Maxine Dupree. So the Maxine Dupree's coming in. She comes in recently. Maxine Dupree's been screwed over by Natty, and lost her title to Becky Lynch. Natty ended up coming in right after her. Of course. How dumbfounded luck is it that the random with the luck of the draw, not only do we have 2 partners starting with each other, in as 1 and 2 in the Rumble, but Maxine Dupree and then her newest rival and her her former mentor comes in right after her and deals with her. And it's just like Really? That couldn't be a few numbers apart? That couldn't be like Natty or like maybe Maxine Dupree could have been in there a little sooner. Maybe Natty could have came in a little later. Whatever. I was just a little peeved. Um Becky Lynch being dumped out like she's not like a top star in the women's division also felt really weird to me. Like she was just like she was in the Rumble long and she just kind of got dumped. Um who else? Zelina Vega got zero reaction. Like I mean, if if someone dropped a needle, you would hear it hit the ground. That's how quiet the crowd was for the Rumble when Zelina made her appearance. She came in, started doing her thing, and then she like yells at the crowd like, "Come on!" trying to get the crowd to fire up. You didn't hear a fucking sound. No one cared for Zelina Vega. Absolutely no one. Not sure why exactly that is. Maybe she's just not over. I guess not, especially in the Saudi crowd. Oh man. Um, yeah, so I will admit I did doze off slightly while watching this match because I kind of got bored. Probably around this time when around this area as I'm moving my mouse. This is around the time where I probably nodded off a bit. I probably nodded off for like a couple minutes, several minutes, because I woke up and then I see Brie Bella in there. I'm like, oh, Brie Bella came back. I'm assuming Kyrie Sane didn't last long because I didn't see her in there. I didn't even know she came out and was in the Rumble. But yeah, apparently a lot of eliminations happened while I was dozing off. Um, yeah, yeah. Jax did the DX crotch chop. I did recall that. She just like she just kept doing it. It was hilarious. Um, yeah, Alba Fire Saving Green was creative. Yeah, see, apparently, I guess Sane accidentally eliminated Asuka. I didn't catch that, unfortunately. But yeah, um, I was very surprised to see Brie Bella back in. I'm assuming it's gonna be the Bellas against Bailey and Lyra Valkyria at WrestleMania. I'm assuming that's what they're doing, possibly. But yeah, like overall, like I said, this match just wasn't that great. Um, I expected a little more from certain people, and some like good for Liv Morgan. She got the win, and she finally is no longer the bridesmaid. She's not number two anymore. She ended up finally getting the win. I was surprised to see Tiffany Stratton get the final four after they just made her look weak as shit, losing the title to Cargill. I just figured they were just gonna sour on her for the rest of the time, but I also feel Tiffany Stratton needs to start learning how to like improvise more in the ring. Like, don't get me wrong, she's got some good gift of gab, and she's got some athleticism to go with that. But like sometimes she freezes in the ring. Sometimes she just is not great at like working on the fly. She needs to get better at that, and I hope she does. But yeah, overall, Sol Ruka also getting a good look. Definitely was one of the brighter spots of this match for sure. I love that. I think it was JC Jane that took out Sol Ruka. Oh no, she made the final four. JC Jane took out someone who was in NXT. I forget who it was. Kalani Jordan. Yeah, JC Jane took out Kalani Jordan. That's right. And I believe that's who that was. I don't know. it was someone relevant in NXT. I know that much. But either way, like I said, the match just um yeah, it was hard not to notice how choreographed everything was. Like I said, and I said this earlier, the match just a lot of the match felt inorganic. And I just wasn't buying it. I just wasn't into it. It got better towards the end, but like there was a lot of that where I was just kind of like, eh. So, AJ Styles Gunther. This was match of the night by far, and of course it was going to be. Like, it's not like it wasn't. That was a shocker. Um, basically, if you haven't seen already, AJ Styles lost to Gunther. Um, and they're making an observation here that I should also mention. So they kept saying there was what 15,000 people or 24,000 was it? How many people were there? Did it say at the top? There like they said a number of people that were there. I think they said maybe 15,000, like 15,000 on hand. And yeah, there was a lot of empty seats like in the like they didn't tarp anything off. Normally this is shit that gets tarped off in stadiums and arenas and shit like that when they don't have enough like people. Saudi, I'm assuming in Saudi they're like, oh no, show our massive stadium we built for you. We built this stadium for you. Show it off. Even though there's not people in the seats, show it off. So yeah, it looks disheartening and empty in certain camera shots, and it's just like, why? Why would you show that? um. Anyways, this match back and forth, it was a little long, but like I enjoyed this match. I thought it was, I thought there was some interesting points of the match where Gunther was just got tired of AJ and just started beating the crap out of him. Like, and I don't mean just like just hitting him hard. I mean, he just going to town on him. And basically, the ref having to do the part where he breaks it up and basically has to check on AJ because Gunther's just beating the shit out of him. AJ's not fighting back. So they did a spot where Gunther's just laying into him. AJ's just not fighting back. Like he's just, I don't know if he's just unable to or that was the idea. But yeah, just like it ended up going a little long. I think that spot kind of got a little too drawn out. But overall, past that, very good technical match. They really focused on the idea of Gunther avoiding shots to the leg or grabs to the leg because he really wanted to avoid the calf crusher. Um, there were some interesting false finishes, and yeah, Gunther made basically he made AJ pass out with the sleeper. Um, I don't I don't know if it'd be like it's still a great match. It could be a contender for match of the year, maybe, but I still think the Nakamura Styles match from the week prior was probably better. But there was yeah, now that I just reminded me. AJ Styles did get cut open early on his arm after he got slammed on the announce table. So he had like this like gash right here on maybe his left arm. Maybe his left arm. Yeah, I think it was his left arm. He had a gash. He was bleeding from it. But other than that, like I said, this was great. A great match. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. Honestly, I shed tears when the match was over. Like when AJ passed out and the crowd just got quiet because Gunther obviously won. Um, yeah, that was it was heart wrenching. This like it's hard for me. I don't know how it is for guys my age or people my age, shouldn't say guys, people my age being big pro wrestling fans who were looking for that, who were looking for something good in pro wrestling when WWE was basically entering the PG era and Eddie had passed, and we're trying to get away from the Chris Benoit ordeal, and we're looking for alternative content outside WWE because, well, let's face it, it was the end all be all at that time. There was TNA, there was Ring of Honor, and a few other little things, but AJ Styles was synonymous with being the counterculture alternative for pro wrestling in that era. And like, if if you weren't gonna talk about any WWE stars and you're like, hey, let's talk pro wrestling stars not in WWE, AJ Styles was at the top of that list. And to be get back more into wrestling around the mid 2000s and be super into like digesting everything in front of me. That was not WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor, all that, a lot of other indies, stuff like that. And AJ Styles was all over the place for that. And watching him, you know, get, take his career to newer heights and getting into WWE finally and making a name for himself in WWE, even despite everything WWE usually stands for and is known for. AJ Styles still was AJ Styles and still was a main eventer as AJ Styles, and he was never anything other than AJ fucking Styles. And it hit me, like a truck when he passed out to Gunther. It was just like, it's another one. We've lost another one. It hurt. It hurt when Bryan Danielson retired. Okay, it sucked to see John Cena retire. It sucked to see um and that, like, now AJ Styles is done. He's done. So, and it's hard to see. It's hard to watch. It's hard to take in, because these are wrestlers that, for better or worse, I really like. If I was watching pro wrestling, it was for these guys, for these competitors, and wow, competitors, for these superstars, for the talent, for what they brought, and you know brought into the business, what they offered, what they the alternative that they delivered, and the brand that they carried. I it's just another one. Just another one. Like, it really makes me feel my age and makes me feel how much of an era is about to end because there is, you know, it's another one gone. I don't know. It's hard for me to take in. It sucks because it makes you say, "All right, who's next?" Despite that, this was great match. Um, AJ did something a little weird at the end. He teased um he teased the retirement because he was taking his gloves off, and then he was about to leave him in the ring, and then the crowd was like, "No, no, no, no," and then he's like, "Okay, no, I'll put the gloves back on." So he put the gloves back on, did the too sweet in the top turnbuckle, whatever, Yeah, it's crazy that he's ready to call it because he still looks better than most talent in the ring right now nowadays in any company. He's so good. AJ Styles is so good, and yeah, gonna be missed, honestly. Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn had the misfortune of having to follow that match. Um, this was the typical underdog rallying to try to overcome the champion type thing. Um, the good thing, the good thing about this match, that you know, most of the time, sometimes when you see someone of an underdog go against like a big champion, most people like don't buy into it that well because you're just like, how is this guy gonna even beat this guy? And even though they might try to do like a rallying attempt, in the back of your mind, you're like, they're not gonna beat him. Well, in this match, Sammy was able to at least get you to believe that he could win at certain moments, which was good because that is what an underdog match really needs, is to be able to make you believe that the underdog might actually be able to win. Otherwise, it don't work. And um that's why this match was pretty enjoyable. There was some spots here that I thought Zayn was gonna get the win, but especially when we kept kicking out of Drew's claymores. I'm like, all right, well, he might actually get this. But yeah, um, yeah, they did hype up like, well, Zayn never lost in Saudi. Granted, he hasn't had that many matches in Saudi because it took a while for the Syria conflict with Saudi to die down before he started coming over. Um, also, apparently, Sami Zayn never beat Drew McIntyre, so there was that um, mixed in as well. But overall, this was a very enjoyable match. It just, like I said, it suffered a little bit from the fact that it had to follow AJ and Gunther. Um, but overall, um, pretty enjoyable. Um, I mean, there's not really much else to tell about it, just the fact. I mean, it was a great, you know, Sami Zayn is very good at playing the underdog. He always has, and it's just one. He's always he's always been able to elicit and show that emotion in any given match that he is in, which makes him such a compelling character and always plugged in for events like this and for opportunities like this, is because you can always rely on Sammy to deliver those moments for you to relish in and make you believe in the underdog. And that's what he's good. That's what he does. All right, we got the men's rumble. Um, that's the lineup. So first and foremost, I want to say I was very surprised when I heard Gunther was in the rumble. When he was going to retire AJ, I'm like, oh, so he's going to have to try to get a title opportunity at the Chamber, right? If that's what he even cares about at this point. Or I just assumed maybe he just didn't, because I figured, oh, he's gonna maybe retire CM Punk like in the near future, maybe, right? I don't know. So I didn't think he was in the Rumble for whatever reason. And then I hear during the earlier part of the show that Gunther is also in the Rumble match, and I'm like, oh, great. So he's in the Rumble match at what? And of course, he's number 30, which is so predictable because he literally had a long ass match just before that. Again, I hate when they make it so predictable. Quit doing that. I will say I was very intrigued to see Obafemi at number one. So yeah, they did do some stuff I did not expect, which I don't know was, here's where I'm eating a little crow here. Yes, they did do some things I wasn't expecting, but I don't know if it was good. Um, First of all, they pretty much wrote off Braun Breaker immediately by getting him effed up right before he gets in the ring, and then he gets taken out immediately by Obafemi to basically save character for him and keep him strong. Um, Rusev. Let's talk about Rusev. Okay, so people have asked Triple H, "Hey, why don't we see Rusev? Why aren't you using Rusev?" And Triple H is like, "Well, we're waiting for the right opportunities to use Rusev because we don't want him just. We want to be able to basically." He was trying to defend the idea of keeping Rusev strong by not having him on TV very often. Um, so I'm like, okay, that's your argument, sure. But then Rusev comes in at number 5 and gets eliminated in like less than a minute. Like he wasn't even in the ring a minute, he's out. And I'm like, really? You come in, he's against Oba Femi, he doesn't even give Oba Femi a challenge. Femi just knocks his ass out. And I'm like, really? Really? Like, that's what you save Rusev for? Like, oh my God. So I don't know if it's a punishment or if it's, or maybe Rusev just wanted a free trip to Saudi. I don't know. I shouldn't say free trip, but basically he wanted a reason to go to Saudi. I don't know. I don't know. But it made no sense. If this is a character you are trying to reserve and keep, you know, trying to keep them strong, this isn't how you keep a character strong. No, no, not at all. Matt Cardona came out, got eliminated. So basically the quick eliminations kind of ended with Damian Priest. We got to see some AAA talent on here. With Mr. Iguana and La Parca of all fucking people. Didn't expect to see La Parca. Um, of course, they had to differentiate and explain to fans it's a current incarnation of La Parca, not the La Parca from WC fucking W. Although they didn't explain it that well, they just basically he's the current iteration. So unless you are knowledgeable of what's going on in Mexican wrestling, it is common for wrestlers to take on the mantle of prior legends. So right now they're in AEW. There's a current Mascara Dorada who is not the Mascara Dorada, the former Grand Malik. It's not him. It's a different younger guy taking on the mantle of Mascara Dorada. So this is the same thing with La Parca. Is not the former La Parca that you saw in WCW. It's a person taking up the mantle of La Parca. So basically, in Mexican lucha libre wrestling, um, lots of people wear masks. The idea is that they take upon the mantle of said avatars, or whatever the character is, avatar slash character. So that is kind of the idea with um those type of like younger people taking up being being named the same as older stars that wore that used that gimmick before. So that's how it works. I might not know all the fine details about that, but that's in general that's the crib notes. Anyways, we got to see the debut of Royce Keys, the former powerhouse Hobbs of AEW, hoping to make a bigger splash in WWE than he ever did in AEW. Even though I heard AEW offered him a pretty decent contract to stay, he obviously wanted to place his bets in WWE and see what happens. But yeah, there's a few other things that I was really like miffed about in this Rumble. Um, Ray Phoenix just gets no love. I swear to God, the man is a great worker. They give Penta all the face time, but they don't give Ray Phoenix any time at all. All he gets is he's Phoenix. He's Penta's brother. That's the most character work they give him. He's Penta's brother. Otherwise, he's in the ring doing great things in the ring, and they any jobs all the time. But hey, at least he got to be in the Rumble. Um, but yeah, it's just I just wish they'd do more with Rey Fenix. It may take them finally pairing him with Penta to finally give him an opportunity to be a solo act, but he really should. Um, I was very disappointed with. There's two things about Brock Lesnar I was a little disappointed with. One, he made Ilya Dragunov look like a little bitch. Ilya Dragunov's supposed to be this real intense, high voltane like character, and he just doesn't matter who's in front of him. He's just gonna beat the crap out of him, chop him down. And Brock Lesnar basically no sold his offense whatsoever and just tossed him out like a fucking wet rag. Like, that pissed me off. Like, you just basically buried Ilya Dragunov in one fucking move. Like, you seriously, like, could at least made it look like a struggle to some extent, but he did not. He just got him out of there. I'm wondering if Ilya, like, I'm not sure if that was planned. Like, I'm sure it was planned to go out by Lesnar, but I'm wondering if the way Ilya like approached Lesnar to try to like go at him was not talked about, and Brock Lesnar took offense at him trying to look like he's a Billy Badass, and Lesnar fucking just said fuck off. Which wouldn't surprise me, but maybe it was planned. I don't know, but it didn't make Ilya look good. Let's just leave it at that. Speaking of Brock Lesnar, during the oh man, we'll get to that too. During the Jey Uso entrance, and of course Jey Uso's coming through the crowd, taking his time, coming through the crowd. During his entrance, Logan Paul and fuck, who else was it? Cody, yeah, Cody Rhodes was working together to get Brock Lesnar out of the ring, and Brock Lesnar basically gets taken out by both of them in the middle of Jey Uso's entrance. Like, they basically had to cut the camera back to Brock Lesnar real quick to watch him get eliminated. Otherwise, you would have never seen him get knocked out. I thought that was weird. One of your biggest stars, biggest marquee names in your company, and he is a afterthought elimination during Jey Uso's fucking entrance. Who the fuck set that up? Like, seriously, whatever producer, I know there's several producers who put this thing together. Whoever thought that was a good idea needs to get shit canned right now. That was by far one of the dumbest things I ever saw in a Royal Rumble. Like, not to mention how stupid it is to see Jey Uso do his entrance, let alone the idea of him running it back. Ah. They need to stop with the running it back shit. Like, it's funny. The things that basically helped kill his main event run, his main event push, are also the things that they are constantly pushing him to do. So yeah, it's really annoying with Jey Uso. LA Knight I thought was going to get a better showing, and you could tell the crowd was upset that LA Knight got taken out of the match like nothing. Um, Trick Williams was really big. People pop like hell for Trick Williams, like super big. He got dumped over like it was nothing. And then the Americano stint was funny. Chad Gable coming back as the original El Grande Americano. I thought that was good. I thought that was good shit. Um, let's see. But yeah, the final four is Logan Paul, Randy Orton, Gunther, and Roman Reigns, who eventually won. I know a lot of people were upset that Roman Reigns won, and obviously they're working towards Roman Reigns and CM Punk now. I'm assuming that's what I'm hearing. I'm sorry if that's not your jam. But um, again, a lot of people complain that WWE is not elevating their new stars and pushing them to the top and making them like main event level stars. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like Roman Reigns is huge. There's a huge pop when he shows up. People can argue it all they want. They're like, "Ugh, Roman Reigns. I don't want to see Roman Reigns. I'm tired of Roman." I'm sorry. He had one of the biggest entrances and one of the biggest pops of the night coming out to the Royal Rumble. He's a star. He is main event level. Yeah. Should he win the? Does he have the right to win the Rumble and challenge for a championship? Oh, you damn very well. Yes. Yes. So for all you fucking bitches, criers, haters out there that feel that Roman Reigns should not be winning a Rumble, you're wrong. I'm just gonna say you're wrong, and that's fine. Yeah. Um, s some people are in a world where they live on instant gratification and wish that every new star just went to the top immediately after they start. And that's cool when some people, some places do it. I mean, just check out AEW. Tommaso Ciampa just started in AEW and is already the TNT championship, or already the TNT champion. Sorry, won the TNT championship off Mark Briscoe. Are you? Is that great? Does that make you happy? Like, he barely worked his way to the title, won the match, got his win. Okay, cool. What's next? Do you care about what's next? You're happy you won the title? Do you care now? Like, that's the problem with people who want instant gratification, is that eventually you burn through resources too quickly. You burn through characters, you burn through storylines too quickly with instant gratification. When you instantly gratify too often to your audience, nothing means anything anymore because you don't put any importance on anything, because everything is as is presented, because that is that as soon as you see it, you're happy, or you get some feeling derived from it, and you just move on. So yeah, anyways, I can complain about instant gratification all day long, but my thing is, let these people cook, for Christ's sakes. Um, let's see what they do with Roman Reigns and CM Punk. Maybe Seth Rollins comes back and ends up winning the chamber, and then it's a three-way for them. Although I'm starting to think now it might be a three-way coming back to the Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, Jake Fatu thing. I'm starting to think it might be, I think Cody Rhodes or Jake Fatu wins the chamber, and then one of them challenges McIntyre. Who knows? But, they also changed the rules this year and said the winner of the Royal Rumble and the winner of the Elimination Chamber can challenge whatever champion they desire when they win. So it means that it's not like the past where, the winner of the Rumble chose this champion, the winner of the Chamber has to choose the other champion. They've changed the rules now to make it easier in booking and to book what they desire to book by allowing the winners choose whoever. Doesn't matter if the choice was made already by the Rumble winner. The Chamber winner could choose the same champion. So they're giving themselves a little more elbow room with the creative. But yeah, overall, this Rumble, getting back to the Rumble, this Rumble was a little more organic than the women's. But like I said, it wasn't perfect by a stretch of the imagination. Um, it was good to see Obafemi look good. Let's see. Yeah, okay. The introduction of Powerhouse Hobbs. I thought that was a little weird that they showed a graphic that said Powerhouse Hobbs, watch the wall crumble down as the graphic, and then they just reveal Royce Keys. It was weird. Is is weird. I love I did love when Cody Rhodes and Hobbs was Royce Keys were interacting in the ring. Cole was clearly trying to not mention AEW because it's still WWE does not like to mention its competitors, and its main competitor right now is AEW, or at least AEW feels that they're in the same league with WWE. So basically, both brands don't refer to each other. Well, actually, AEW does mention WWE. Um, just I don't know if they've been doing that on camera anytime lately, but I think they've finally got away from that. Um, yeah, the Obafemi and Brock Lesnar standoff was fun. I just wish it would have leaned more into it. Yeah, yeah. They also mentioned about Jey Uso's entrance. It took so long. By the time his entrance ended, Reigns was ready to come out. And that's the thing about, like, oh my god. So the Royal Rumble time, as people should know, is not fixed. It's not a fixed like 90 seconds or however long they say. It's gimmicked. So basically, people go out and do their thing, whatever spots they have planned in between entrants. When the spot's done, they just put the timer up. They don't, there's no timed, okay, 90 seconds is up, put that timer up. Whether or not a spot is done or they got through a spot or whatever, they basically are just like, okay, well, it only took them 45 seconds to get through that. Well, just throw the timer out. Let's get the next dude out. That's what they do. What they do. And it's funny when people are like, oh, they were in there for this long. It's like, I don't know about that. But yeah. Anyways, one thing I will know, I wish they would stop. So, like, and this kind of ran through the back of my mind with the Rey Mysterio coming out. I really wish they would stop referring to, especially with the older talent, quit referring to them winning Rumbles that they won 20 fucking years ago. You make them sound old, you make them feel old in presentation, and you make them feel like they're not relevant. Why they even have a spot here? Like, I get they're a Hall of Famer. I get they're talent still on the roster. But you make them seem like they haven't accomplished anything in 20 fucking years when you're like, oh, they won the Rumble back in 2006. It's like, who fucking cued that in and just let him read that verbatim? I'm like, well, yeah, if I had to show someone right now, hey, that's Rey Mysterio. He's one of the best luchadors in the world. And I'm trying to show someone who's not really paid attention to wrestling that, and then they get fed that fact. They're gonna be like, well, I guess he's not that great because he hasn't won anything in 20 years. So yeah, I really wish sometimes they would pay attention to particular nuances that might make certain talent look weak, or definitely not as strong as they could. Like, that was a glaring oversight in my opinion. Like, I get you want to, it's the Royal Rumble. They like to have facts surround the Royal Rumble. This many eliminations. This person's been the longest. Rah, 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 rah. But not every fact needs to be mentioned because, like facts, things age. And when certain, like facts, things age past, when they get to a certain point, they are out of, try to think of the word, they are, it definitely it's of a different era, of a different time, when certain things are just like, you know well, trying to think of the word, it makes things seem antiquated. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for, but either way, I just wish they would pay particular attention to that. Now, anywho, um the Royal Rumble overall was fine as a show. um I would say, Um, it was weird seeing that arena being as empty as it was. Maybe they should start lowering the prices if your lovely Saudi audience can't afford tickets to the Royal Rumble to fill this stadium. But it would I don't know. It was just kind of weird to constantly see as empty as it was. Um yeah, it's weird because you can see it with people there. But yeah, there was certainly certain camera shots throughout the show where it looked pretty empty. Um, but yeah, it was also weird not having Finn Balor in the Rumble. Like, there was some people that I'm like, why are these in the Rumble and then not like others? Like, there was no Finn Balor. There was um, no Carmelo Hayes. Like, there's a couple of exclusions. I was just like, why are these guys not being used? It seemed weird. Maybe it was a visa thing. Maybe they just couldn't go to Saudi for whatever reason. I don't know. Hard to say. Oh, good to note. Happy to see Ava has decided to leave WWE. Moving on from her role in NXT being the GM. May she find a career not in pro wrestling. She was awful. She definitely was not a very enjoyable talent to watch. She was probably not very good at wrestling and not very good at anything she did in WWE. I honestly thought that she was purely a Nepo hire, and she basically contributed or offered nothing to the company or was not worth their money whatsoever. Not saying she's a worthless person, she's just worthless in the industry of pro wrestling. May she, have better success elsewhere and maybe better value elsewhere. But moving on. So we discussed the Royal Rumble. We've discussed Saturday Night's main event. Let's kind of rewind back to some Unreal. I don't know if any of you guys have watched Unreal. I want to quickly just go on a little bit about Unreal. Season 2 came out. They did some episodes following Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, um, following the Seth Rollins faking the knee injury. They did some stuff about an episode about R-Truth, which I think was the best episode on there for this season, and was enjoyable to watch. Now, what you what people are trying to get from the show is, I guess the way to word it is, how much do you enjoy getting worked? Okay. So it's funny because I watch like on like Steve Richards show and some other people who dissect Unreal, and they dissect it as if this is a show where 100% of what you're seeing is real. Okay. This is a pro wrestling show willing to reveal the curtain, guys. Pro wrestling. Are you trying to tell me in them doing this that they are not trying to work you in any way, shape, or form? That what you honestly see on this show is 100% accurate and truth. This is real deal. This is they're showing the world so much. And yes, there are certain things that yes, they are pulling back and you're able to see that normally they would not let people in on. Get that. I get that. The R-Truth episode was probably more on that that it gets categorized in that lump. Here's what takes me out of it. You are trying you have an episode where you are discussing Chelsea Green. You're discussing what to do with her for the, she dropped the title. Do you want her to win the title back? Who does she go up against? Well, she I guess she goes against all the women she beat before and just does it back again. Or, well, you can't have her beat said list of superstars: Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, um, Lyra, all these other women. She can't go against them and possibly win because she's not that level, or so they say. And then you have, God, what's his name? Hold on. Sorry, I just had a brain frog. Brain fog. Brain fog. Um, Michael Hayes. Sorry. So you have Michael Hayes. Yeah, it kind of came up as I was searching. So you have Michael Hayes go on camera and then say, yeah, um, there is, Chelsea Green is great at what she does, and that's putting over talent and making stars. She is so good at what she does with her character work and this and that, that she basically has a super great talent of getting people to that next level. And I'm just sitting there like, so, but then he turns around and basically says she's not good enough to be at that level. It's like she's great at helping elevate people to that level, but she's not good enough to be at that level. Especially with some of the discussions they had in the boardroom. And I'm just like, this is out on Netflix, and this is literally what is being aired on Netflix. Okay. This is where I say bullshit, and it's work. It's work. There's no way, because they showed Chelsea Green showing off her new home being built and how she's happy with her job, rah, rah, rah. There is no way, even with her being happy with her, the money she's making, where she's at in her career, there's no way I'm going to sit there as a creative and just let let the creative that basically helped me facilitate my character basically say I'm not good enough to be a main event player. There's no way I'm going to sit there and take that beating and just go on about my job smiling, thinking, well, it's fine. Fine. Whatever. That's their opinion. No. There's no way. No way she's happy with that. So my thought is either A, she's just that oblivious or don't care, or B, she's in on it. They tell her, hey, we're going to say these things about you for the documentary. We know we want you to know we don't actually feel this way about you. We think you're great. But we need to have compelling storytelling for Unreal. And, we want to basically be able to, say these things at your detriment. And she's like, yeah, okay, sure. Thanks for letting me know. This is the type of thing, like I said, they're working you. There is no way that she don't know that they're saying these things. No way. Like, it makes no sense. So I can't imagine that that would be a thing. So, moving on from that. There was another bit about the Seth Rollins the Money in the Bank. Seth Rollins LA Knight had an angle that they had planned with the creative that they're going to draw the drama out with both of them struggling up the ladder to get the briefcase. This was the plan. This is what they were doing. This is the finish they wanted to execute. On Unreal, it showed LA Knight wasn't at the planned, wasn't there to execute the plan. He was hanging around outside, just kind of mindlessly doing whatever. I don't know what he was doing. But he seemed to have something else on his mind. And then he goes in and tries to do something else with Seth Rollins, getting him off the ladder and whatnot, and doesn't actually do what they planned on doing. Seth Rollins basically improvises, deals with LA Knight, and then goes up and just climbs up and gets the briefcase with no one trying to struggle at him, or no one, like, there was no a like apex point of the drama to, like, they didn't like get what they wanted basically with the finish. LA Knight comes to the back and they berate him, bring him to the table, sit him down, and they basically go on and berate him and tell him, we set this up for you. We did this for you. We wanted to make you look strong. And you weren't there. Blah 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 blah. And just basically yelled at him like a redheaded stepchild. Now, you have all these matches. They're worked through the producers, through the refs, to the talent. The talent executes, right? This is your finish. Now, you're going to have me believe that the producers just sat there and didn't tell the refs, hey, don't remind LA Knight about the finish. He's got it. No, no, no. If the finish was intended to be that way, the ref would have went over to LA Knight and been like, hey, you need to get in the position. Hey, remember that spot? You need to go in now. Someone would have went over there and told him. No ref went over there and told him. There was nothing like that. So, which makes me wonder, yes, audience is being worked. Makes me wonder, on camera and through everything else, most of the people were told, and we got to know, that the finish was supposed to be this. I would not be surprised if right before the match, LA Knight, Seth Rollins, and the referees were brought around and told, hey, we're actually going to do this thing for Unreal. We're not going to go with the plan finished. Instead of the drama bit and trying to struggle up the ladder between both LA Knight and Seth Rollins, LA Knight, you're going to just kind of hang out, and then you're just going to pull Seth off the ladder and do some stuff, and Seth is going to stomp you, and then just go up the ladder and pull the briefcase. We need to have some sort of dramatic storytelling for this episode that we're doing for Unreal. We're cluing you guys in. We're cluing the refs in. No one else, because everyone else thinks that this is going to be finished. We want their responses to you guys not performing the finish to be as organic as possible for the rest of the guys being caught on cam. It's Triple H working the boys, working the other staff for Unreal to work you. That is literally what most of Unreal is. Okay? And there's other examples I could go on about. I don't want to talk all night talking about this, but there are other examples I could mention. But Unreal is nothing but a work. Now, there are a few things that, yes, you could glean and be like, yeah, okay, that's real. Or, okay, sure, I see why they do that, or why this happened. Like with the R-Truth stuff. Most of that, if not all of it, was probably real. There might be some slight fabrications, but most of it is pretty factual or real. But the show, for the most part, is very much a work. So if you eat that show up and think you're learning a lot about pro wrestling, you're not. You're just one of the many people who buys into what they see, and, they got you, if that's the case. Now, was season 2 as good as season 1? I don't think so. I think season 2 was a little lackluster than season 1. Is it entertaining for people who aren't super into pro wrestling? Sure. It just, shows like this really do divide the people who understand pro wrestling and the people who just casually watch it. That is one thing this show does. It will definitely give you an insight Like if you watch it with someone and they give you what their thoughts on it, you could tell if they know pro wrestling or if they don't just by watching this show. Easily. Easily. Um that said, um I guess it's worth watching once, just for entertainment quality, just shits and giggles. But just keep in mind, you pro wrestling fans out there, you're watching it. I hope you're not completely buying into it. Just want to make that perfectly clear. Pro wrestling is a con. It's always been a work, and it's a carny based entertainment, and the pro wrestling never works if everyone knows everything. Just like any other magic show or any other facade, it's not believable if you're able to see everything behind the curtain. Anywho, I am good. The next video coming out, I'm not 100% sure what's. I haven't been really paying attention. I think the next event's a TNA event, maybe coming up here in a few weeks. So maybe next week. I'm not quite sure when their how their schedule is, but we'll probably have a TNA discussion. I know we should probably do an AEW discussion here because I know it's such a long time between their December event and their freaking next pay-per-view, which is like several, like 4 months in. So maybe we'll have a W discussion down the road. I'm a little behind on AEW. I gotta catch up. So um again, thanks for watching these guys. I very much appreciate that you um enjoy my thoughts on here. And honestly, you guys see something that maybe I could do a little bit better to make this more digestible, more something that you can like relish and enjoy as you do other mundane stuff as you have me in the background. Feel free to comment, let me know. I very open to any critique or advice. So um anyways, I hope y'all take care. Keep enjoying pro wrestling. It's at a good, pro wrestling's at a great time nowadays, and at a great time. It's at a great point at this time of, this time in our lives. So um, it just goes to show how tired I am. I need to go to bed. So, anywho, I will see y'all later. Take care. Have a good one, and be safe.